Hey everybody, this is ThyCompany here. Welcome to today's live stream. Today is April the 3rd, 2024. Welcome everybody to today's live stream show. Hope you've been doing well and that your month of April has been excellent so far. And for today's live stream, we're going to cover a health update basically on the ThyCompany channel. So talking about my health, how the grandparents are doing, how Sped Dad is doing, how my grandpa's doing as well, and kind of give you a general update of what's been going on, I guess, health-wise or maybe medically wise, without giving too much detail as well, too, because, there's also the layer of privacy to a degree as well that was, I suppose, needed as well. So what's been going on recently? So I believe I've been doing okay as far as I can tell. Um, as far as I can remember discussing on the ThyCompany channel, uh, the biggest thing that for me as a goal is the weight loss, which is going, I guess, in the right direction, I suppose. But there are fluctuations as well. Um, sometimes when you're on a diet, things like to go up, things like to go down. So uh, I think where we were before, now I don't recall the exact starting weight that we were at. I suspect that the starting weight was probably around somewhere between 255 to 275, which was uh, around August of 2022. Now, I know that it did go up when it was like at that around that month of August 2022, and reason I noticed is because I believe I was in the 50s in May of 2022, and then we went to Russia during the summer. And I know I always felt like I was really overweight at that point, especially looking at photographs back then. And I remember coming back from Russia back into the United States in like late July, and between late July and August, returning back to the American diet, to American food, I started gaining a bunch of weight, and I think I went up to 265, 275 at the most. But I know, I started losing weight, but I was having some health issues, some abdominal pain, and uh, around late October is when it got really bad, and that's when I went to the emergency room to get checked out. When I was at the emergency room, they were concerned that I had appendicitis, which is uh, like when your appendix starts going bad on you, right? But they checked that, and that was not the issue, unfortunately. So there's nothing wrong with that. Um, so I'm like, all right, so this is probably with weight in my mind. That's what I was thinking. So I started doing this, this dieting, which was mainly, I think the main key was fasting, um, and I lost a lot of weight from that. I lost probably a good 30 pounds, is what I'm thinking. Maybe even more than that, possibly. But um, when I officially started like getting the weight recorded on like a medical record, um, in the ER, they had written down 250, even though it wasn't an actual weight. It was just something I told them that, and they just went and wrote it down. But the actual like where I stepped on the scale and weighed was probably July of 2023, is what I believe. And at that point, I was at 227. And I was talking with Umain or Chapa and about like, hey, we gotta go. I gotta get on this diet, and he was saying the same thing, like, yeah, man, I'm totally with you because I need to go on a diet as well so I can get on my soccer team. And like, cool. So let's like, let's what we do is we'll have like a regular chat about weight, where our goals are, how progress is going, and all that. Which was a good thing we're doing, because what I ended up doing was I started doing a daily table or chart on my weights. And what I would do is I would weigh myself twice. I would weigh myself once in the morning and once in the evening at night. And that helped me track to see, where the general trend was going. and that helped me lose weight all the way down to, let's see, I was at 227. Then I think I went down to about 224 in probably, let's see, I can probably look up the exact numbers, but I think I went down to 220, from 227 to about 226 or 225. And then later in December, I think, medically wrote down, the medical office, the workers there, they wrote down 224, but at home I got down to 215, which was still good. That's still a good rate of progress. Um, and then I started talking to my doctor. I was like, "Hey, so what do you think I should be at? What should my ideal weight be?" And there's different tables that say different things, like, "Oh, your weight should be down," like based on my height. There's a BMI scale, which is your body mass index, which kind of gives you sort of a general idea as to what your weight should be, or that ideal goal, based on what they would be considering the ideal BMI number. But after talking to my doctor, the recommendation was to have at least probably about 10 pounds over that ideal number, because you still need like extra, muscle body weight to help with um, homeostasis, or regular, body regulation of, nutrients, energy, everything that you need to go about your daily business in life, right? So for me, I think that was something like 190, 195 ish, somewhere in that goal. I think the BMI number is more like 180, 185. But so for me, my goal would be like, if I get down to under 200, that would be the ideal goal for me. If I get to 190, cool. But I'm thinking I probably shouldn't go past 190. It doesn't seem to be like something that would be needed at that point, right? And I'm pretty sure by the time, if I get my weight down to under 200, then I should be, all good to um in like general appearance, because the weight thing is, two parts. One, it's good for your health, right? Because heavier you are, uh the likelier you can run down to other issues down the road in life and with health and a few other things, right? Like, could basically, some things that come to mind is, issues with mobility. You could get diabetes. Um, there's probably a few other general things that can happen. Like, just as an example from people I know a lot of people who, when they start getting a lot of weight, or if they become, really obese, or unfortunately, and there are people I know who become morbidly obese, and that sucks, because they have a tendency to get diabetes, which leads to, you got sugar problems. You get high sugar, low sugar, which can cause you to start feeling, really sick. Um, and then if you do have a diabetes, it can affect your uh, arms and legs, the walking, general fatigue. I know people who get diabetes and then it affects their eyesight. In very bad cases, you may even, the highest that it recently got was probably 237. It's now going down again. It's at 228. So it is fluctuating up and down. Um, but I at least kind of had an appointment. Well, I had an appointment recently to figure out, what's causing the weight to go back up. And I realized a few things. Um, One of the issues is avoiding anything sweet or sugary. And in my case, I wasn't eating any sweets, like not, um, so not no candy, no cake. What else would be sweet? Probably ice cream. Because what happens is, when you start eating a bunch of sweet stuff, you tend to get hungry, and that is bad. Um, and I've noticed a few things. Like, one time I went to a friend's, birthday party. I ate a piece of cake, and just eating a small slice of cake got me to, it messed up my metabolism, which, to clarify, that's like your body's function to digest food processed food, and that, the better that metabolism is, or better your body processes food, the easier it is for you to lose weight. And there's a lot of different foods that help that and also disrupt your metabolism. Sugary foods can impact that. There's a lot of other things like a lot of oils or fatty foods. So, what my recommendation is, based off like what my doctors are saying, is to practice two things. One, a Mediterranean diet. So what that means is like things you would see kind of in like a Mediterranean um, nutrition. So that would be like a lot of vegetables, proteins, um, some fruits here and there. But in my mind, my initial thought was like, oh, I can eat, chicken, beef, eat some veggies and then eat as much fruit as I want. The mistakes I made. You can't be eating as much fruit as you want because fruit has hidden sugars. And in my case, I was eating a lot of bananas, and bananas are very sweet. And I didn't realize that ahead of time. And let me eat bananas because bananas have potassium, and potassium helps regulate your body or regulate homeostasis. Which, when I was at the ER way back in October of 2022, I had low potassium, and they had me to take a potassium vitamin. So that's like, all right, let me go start eating bananas again because bananas are, high in potassium. But bananas are sweet, so that I suspect that was part of what was going on. And then the other thing that also messed up with the recent weight gain was, when I was down to like 215, I started getting a lot of comments, and kind of like almost like people making fun of me for um, like losing so much weight that my arms became skinny, and they're like, "Oh, thigh, your arms look like like a woman's arm," and I'm like, you don't have to be so savage, but like, I know what you mean. I mean, it's not like I have a bunch of muscle, but I'm not like bony. Um, I'm like, I mean, it's like it's not fat, but it's not muscle. It's like skinny, thin, I guess. So, I talked to doctors and I was like, all right, what is your suggestion? And they kept saying, just include more strength building, which I've been doing. I mean, I've been lifting like, now I haven't been going to the gym like lifting weights, but I've been very frequently like having to move heavy boxes. And I do have some like dumbbells at home, but they're on the heavier side. They're like 20 or 25-pound weights, which a lot of people are saying that's a little too heavy to start off with. And I have been avoiding that because I don't want to, cause what's called um, what is known as like a sudden, like, or too much sudden weight exertion, right? What that is basically when you put too much weight in your body all at once, your body can get really, really sore, and it can begin to ache, versus it being more of like what's called a gradual increase. Which what that means is like, you start off at a low number, and then over time you go up and up at a as you build up muscle rate versus going straight to like heavyweights. But I've heard of different arguments of that as well. I've heard people saying, oh, thigh, you go with small weights to build definition, but you go with heavy weights to build up bulk, or to bulk up, which is like bulking up your muscle mass. And there are different arguments and all that, but I'm not, my thing is like, yeah, I do want to, get more muscle, but my biggest concern is the health. Um, and then there's a few other like social goals as well in relation to that too. But besides that, whenever you go to a doctor, they do what's called preventative medicine, which what that means is, they do like routine blood work and do urinalysis to basically get an idea of where your body's at, um, and typical things that they like to check includes like what do you call, like, elements or minerals in your, or compounds in your blood and urine. Very common things that they like to check. Many doctors like to check like iron in the blood. They may do things like check vitamin D, which is a big thing because a lot of people have recently been staying indoors more often. And when you stay indoors more often, you lose your vitamin D level tends to go down, which affects your bones. And what you see with a lot of typically older people is that with vitamin D deficiency, your bones can become brittle and you can develop osteoporosis. And what that is the um, like where your bones kind of become like hollow out or they become more fragile. And so what happens is that you get old people who maybe like if they fall down, they can break a bone and then it gets dangerous from there. You know, when they break a bone, one, it's not easy to fix and it could tend to lead to other health complications. Um, and in general, you don't want to be breaking bones in your body, right? Now, yes, the other things that are important with it too, like calcium and all that. Let's see. T equals swag. Welcome to the live stream. Glad to have you here. You are asking how come this has no views at all? We are getting a few people coming in and out. You mean like active watchers or viewers on the live stream? Um, that may be just simply due to people not having their notifications set up on YouTube. Plus, we are doing a live stream on the later end. We usually do earlier in the day. Um, for example, with Chapa thinks we do at 10 p.m., but we try to not really do it at 10. We usually try to do it earlier than 10. Um, so maybe people are asleep now since it's like it's what is it, like 11:28 Eastern Standard Time right now at the current time of the live stream. Um, Speaking where somebody's calling me now. But yeah, that's probably one of the reasons. There's probably a few more I can think of later on. But yeah, we're just otherwise, yeah, for me, basically, when they did the blood work to kind of go over a few kind of general things, like, because I'm indoors a lot, vitamin D was on the lower end. So they told me, oh, go start taking vitamin D pills or tablets, which is like over the counter. Nothing crazy. It's not anything dangerous or anything at all. It's just the main thing with if you're taking vitamin D, you should be taking it with food. So typically, my is to take it after food. Um, then I think I was like low iron for some reason. So they told me to go take iron, but also to take it with vitamin C because vitamin C helps your body intake iron better. And then turns out there's different versions of iron. The most common one is called ferrous sulfate. So for those of you who've taken chemistry, um, so that's like, what do you call that? Iron with sulfur and something else. And that's considered to be like the good iron or better, or I should say like the better iron to take. But then I made a mistake and I bought something called ferrous fulminate or fuminate, and that's like weaker iron. And so now I got to go back to the ferrous sulfate, which is the good iron that's the better one, I should say, that I need because the ferrous fulminate is what's the word to put it, like lesser quality or like doesn't help your body as well as ferrous sulfate. So different irons apparently, which is it's like a learning process. Like as you start doing all these like testing and checking to see what's going on with your body, you start learning more about medicine and how to better take care of your body essentially, right? Um, Otherwise, vitamin C does help with like immunity. I think vitamin D typically is taken with calcium as well, if I'm not mistaken. Now, don't quote me on that because I'm not a health professional, right? Um, but what else? What else? Cholesterol was high, so I'm definitely working on that. And typically, my thinking is with the cholesterol, likely it's high because of fried foods, which I stopped doing fried foods since July of 2023. I think the issue with that was, basically I don't go into any more fast food at all. Um, If I have to, absolutely, and I have no other options to fry something, I what I do is I use olive oil because it's one of the better oils out there for you. There's other good oils like avocado. I think grapeseed oil might be another good one as well. But I typically use olive oil, and when I use olive oil, I don't put a lot. I do usually at most a tablespoon, but I try to do something like maybe a teaspoon, maybe a little bit more than a teaspoon, just enough so I can have like the bare minimum to fry something. And I try to right now. What my current thing, well, what I need to do now is the current recommendation that I was given for me was to, if I have fruit, to have no more than two fruit, to avoid bananas, but to eat fruit and vegetables that are more that have more fiber in them, so more fibrous. So my what I was told was to have more berries and to have apples. And I think this, and then like I asked about oranges as well, since oranges are a common fruit around my place, and I was told to have at most half of an orange a day. Um, and that's probably because I'm taking already the vitamin C. Um, I don't know about mandarins though, because we tend to have a lot of mandarins around as well. But they want for me to basically put way more of a focus on vegetables, and for meat or protein, uh, the general recommendation was to stick with chicken. Um, I can have red meat, but red meat, it should be, I think, limited. So I shouldn't be eating like ground beef every day. I shouldn't. That shouldn't really be a thing. It should be maybe like 2 or 3 times a week, kind of at the most. What I'm doing now is I'm trying to stick more to chicken. Um, Now, I don't know about deli meat because there's a lot of mixed opinions about deli meat. That deli meat tends to be salty. They tend to have a lot of other stuff like additives in deli meat, and I think they're referring to like all the. But I know people who have eaten too much of deli meat, and that's actually negatively affected their health. Like for example, um, I have a neighbor that I know of who has eaten or has a, or has had a diet of a high intake of deli meat, and I believe this has been like a very long-term diet of this high intake of deli meat. But not just deli meat. She also has been eating a lot of like salted foods, marinated foods. And she's from um, how to put it, like former USSR countries. So they like to, or Slavic countries. So they like to eat a lot of canned goods or jarred goods, which tend to have a lot of salt or added preservatives based on that cultural factor of preserving things for the winter. But what that's done is that has impacted that person's health, and she started developing. I think one person was developing like stomach ulcers. Another one had an issue for gallbladder, so she had to have a gallbladder removal surgery. I know another person who ended up supposedly even going as far as developing a some kind of a cancer or carcinoma of some sort, which is basically cancer. And she had to get very massive surgery of some sort, and she had to what's go through what's called the process of I think it's called a colorectomy or colostomy, but she had a colostomy bag, which is a bag where they basically things when your stomach doesn't digest properly and they have to kind of like get it out of your body and then filter it out or process it and then have it go back inside the body, which is not a fun thing to be going with. Um, so don't be eating deli meat all the time. And if you do, you can eat it, but I wouldn't eat it all the time, which is what I used to do back in high school and kind of in college because it was easy and it tasted good, and I suspect that it was probably another factor for the weight gain. But that was of back then, many years ago, which is we're talking about arguably like 5 to 10 years ago. Um, so you can eat it, but I wouldn't be don't eat it all the time. Not every single day you should be eating it. Um, so what the current thought of mine for me is, I don't be drinking sodas. I used to drink a lot of milk all the time. Right now, I'm heavily limiting, any dairy intake. I still eat cheese here and there, but it's not as much as what I used to. So I try to eat maybe cheese 2 or 3 times a week at most. Um, let's see. I don't drink just sweet tea. I know far too many people who've been drinking sweet tea and then getting type 2 diabetes because all they do is drink McDonald's, sweet tea or what I call American sweet tea. Um, Way too often, 3 times a day, every single day, is a quick way to get type 2 diabetes from what I've observed. Um, so yeah, so I don't be drinking sweet tea. If I drink tea, it's unsweetened. For me, it's fine. I know some people say it's very bitter, but I think it depends on the tea that you like. We tend to have a lot of Lipton tea or also known, I guess you could say it's black tea as well. Green tea is kind of rare. Occasionally I'll drink it. Um, but I like to get like flavored teas. So what I mean by flavored teas are teas that are made from like fruit, like berries, for example. There's berry, cherry tea, and there's a few different brands that make those kinds of teas. I think what was the recent one? There's a few brands like Big and Lil's a good one, Harvey and Sons. Um, there's a there's a brand called Kuzmin, which is kind of a higher end one. Um, let's see, Yane. Hello, Yane. Or is that V? No, it's Y. Hello, Yane. Welcome to the show. How come nobody else is watching this? You're the second person who said that during the stream so far, Yane. Uh, People are coming and going again. Besides the bell or what's it called, the bell icon or notification, um, probably being enabled is probably something with that, and that it's being kind of a later live stream in the. Usually we do live streams later. I mean, earlier in the day. It's pronounced Yane. Oh, Yane. Okay. Right, Yane. That's good to know. I wasn't sure. So Yane. Okay, I will try to remember that. Hopefully, I do remember it. But yeah, thank you for the correction. Um, but yeah, so the dieting was the big thing. Um, as far as exercise, I've been working to better exercise. The recommended minimum exercise amount, which is like what in general doctors have been recommending here, is to get at least 150. Was it 150 minutes a week? I think, or basically it's like 2.5 hours of exercise per week. So let's see. Giannis says, "I will remember you when you stream again." Appreciate that. Yeah, you are. I think from the let's see. You and T equals swag is from probably like the current wave. We did have a guy named Maxer who was on the stream all the time. I'm surprised he's not on the stream. And then a lot of old people are not on the stream either, like Uchapa, Rooster, Squarey. Um, who else am I forgetting? Let's see. Uchapa, Rooster, Squarey. Um, Everybody else from the Discord chat. So that would include Sup Games. Who else has been online? A lot of the Roblox friends as well. But yeah, so for exercise, right? So what that means is, I've been walking around, so doing walks. If you walk at least 30 minutes a day, that will meet that minimum, which is very easy to do. Just walk around your neighborhood for 30 minutes. But I know it's not something that everybody can do realistically, because I know many people who are um, in positions where they're very busy and not able to complete at least 30 minutes of walking. But what I've been doing is, I've been trying to, exercise for at least that much. And also, I go to my local YMCA, do a lot of swimming there. I go to the gym there, also exercise here. I also recently found what's called like kind of like an exercise bike or a pedal bike, where you sit on a chair and you're, pedaling, or your feet in circular motions, which is, what do you call that? Like a pedal machine or bicycle machine. So I have that as well, so that helps. plus the lifting of heavy boxes. I guess also you can include general like house cleaning. I guess that's exercise, like when you're vacuuming the house, you're pushing a heavy vacuum, I guess. And then also outside work, gardening, because we're back in spring now, and so we're planting some flowers and bushes, and then I might go back to what I call my former gardening, which is where I was working on like herbs and vegetables. And I do have I have a lemon tree as well, and I might look to try out a few more fruits or berry kind of related plants. I don't know yet for sure though what I want to do, because we're still kind of figuring out if we're going to be selling my mom's house or not, and I think we probably will not though, but I don't know what's going on. It's always kind of a changing game with that. um let's see, what else has been going on. So yeah, the only weird things I can think of, and as far as health wise, with the preventative medicine, when they, after they get lab results, they always like to kind of occasionally look at a few things and figure out if there's anything really weird going on, or if it's benign. Or benign basically means that it's not really of any issue, not causing any trouble. So for me, the only thing was like some weird abnormalities with blood, and so they thought maybe it was like an infection. The other thing that comes to mind, a condition called proteinuria, and proteinuria is basically when there's like an elevated level of protein in urine, which is typically, for me, more than likely, and they're still testing to figure out what it is exactly because it's unspecified, but they think it's more than you turn it in. Um, what else they do? The blood work is always crazy too. I don't like doing blood work. And I've had two episodes of what's called um, a vasovagal response. So what that is, for those of you who may or may not have heard of this, a vasovagal response. It's a nerve response, and you have a nerve that's like a central nerve that goes from your like your believe it's called from your head, and that goes down your spine, so that within your nervous system you have that kind of like as a central line nerve. And what happens is when that nerve becomes triggered or stimulated, your body goes into kind of like I believe it's like a fight or flight mode. And for me, it's like your body's trying to like get out of what's triggering that sensation or stimulating that nerve. So for me, what happens is, I don't like giving blood. So whenever they give blood, they do it from your left arm or your right arm. And for me, it's usually like the middle or the inlet of the arm that they usually find a good vein. And um, let's see, the two times I've had, the first time I didn't have no food in the morning. I was supposed to fast and you have, sometimes you have to fast, which is basically you don't eat or drink certain foods or drinks the morning of the day you have to give blood work. So Yannis, I was once giving blood through my left arm. Yeah, sometimes, well, from what I've noticed in my experience, um, sometimes they'll ask you, hey, what arm you want to use, left or right? For me, I always was starting off with my right arm because when I was in the hospital, they used my right arm. And doing that with my main doctor's office. And then they randomly would like switch to my left arm. And then when I went to like nephrology for some lab work, they started using my left arm, and they thought my left arm had better veins. But probably realistically, they're both fine for me because I drink a lot of water. I stay active. But like, if you don't drink any water, like for example, like my grandfather, he refuses to drink water and he has a very bad fluid intake. Um, and he's very inactive. Um, they every time he has to go give blood, they have a horrible time finding any good veins. So what they do is they don't get it from your arm for him. They typically get it from his hand, from the nerve, from the veins in your hand, and he hates it because it's painful. Um, so yeah, that sucks for him. But then again, he's very stubborn and doesn't want to drink water. Yanni says, if you don't drink enough water, it's kind of like your kidneys will dry. So your kidneys won't dry necessarily. You could damage your kidneys, and for him, it's very extremely important and vital that or crucial that he drinks fluid because one, he's 87. Two, he was recently hospitalized in October of 2023. He also had a heart attack. He had two heart attacks, or medically, what they call that is coding. Did twice, or had two heart attacks, and when they're basically saving your life, get you alive back to getting your heart beating and working. One of the things that they can do is to get, in his case, to give a medication to his heart, which heavily negatively impacted his kidneys because we gotta get you alive, you know, and that's like the most first thing you got to do, right? When you're in heart attack, um, when you're having a heart attack. But in his case, that medicine they gave him completely shut down his kidneys. He went into complete failure, kidney failure, which means that you got to go on dialysis if you want to live. And dialysis is not fun. They get central line, which is they find a main artery and vein, usually in your around your shoulder or maybe in like your upper torso. I think in his case it was like on his uh, left side near his heart. They find an artery. They do a minor surgery so they can put a tube into that artery. Then, in his case, once every other day, so once every 2 days, they take you to a dialysis, and they hook you up to this big old machine that manually filters your blood for you, and that sucks. Every time he goes in there, he feels horrible. I imagine that it's painful as well because one time he went in there and he was yelling um, in broken English. He was yelling, "Kill me, kill me," and medical staff didn't know how to take that. They were asking us, "So is he wanting for us to help him do medically induced suicide?" And we're like, "What? What are you talking about?" And apparently, so what he meant by that was like, let get this over. Like that was what in his mind, what he was really his true intention was. He didn't want to, he's reasonable. He's not crazy. Um, or does he have any sort of, actual intent of doing some kind of medically induced suicide or medically assisted suicide? I think is what they call it. Um, no, it's just he went through such a rough episode of dialysis that he just wanted this over, and they had to cut dialysis early, and they also have to do regular lab work to see how the kidneys were going, and thank God he had regained complete full recovery of both of his kidneys, and they right before he was discharged, did lab work, checked his kidneys, and his kidneys were fine. They were normal. And we also checked his kidneys again. What was this? Yesterday or 2 days ago, with a nephrologist, and his kidneys are even better than the last days right before he was discharged from the hospital. Meaning that he even recovered, or his kidneys even, I guess you could say, strengthened even more. So, yeah, drinking is very crucial. Um, Now, in his case, I think what he does now is he drinks like sweet tea, um, which is not the best thing, but like it's not like horrible completely. There's a lot worse things you can drink than sweet tea, right? But what I've been doing is, of course, like making sure that it's not, sweet, and I try to limit the sugar and all that. I try to encourage him to drink other stuff like he eats soups as well. So soups have fluids in it too, but there's different things I can come up with. Like I'll make vegetable purees or fruit purees to help him out. But yeah, so he's doing fine with that. But to get back to, I guess, my health. Um, so I talked about proteinuria and all of that. I've explained, what are the weird things with that. Watermelon Cat, welcome to the show. Welcome to the live stream. Yat, scary Yat. Okay, welcome with that comment. Yane, do you have by chance? I'm asking. Yes, Yane, I have been promoting our Discord channel for a while now. There's a ThyCompany Discord group, and I do have a Discord account as well. I don't know how they add people on Discord now. It used to be ThyCompany #1515. Um, but I think they've like changed the registry system now. There's a link. There should be a link on the main on the ThyCompany like YouTube channel for the Discord server. I don't know if that directly takes to the group server. It should. Uh, Watermelon Cat says, "I'm here, Goofy." All right, welcome, Watermelon Cat. Glad that you're here in the live stream. But yeah, we do have a Discord. Алло. One second, I got a phone request here. I gotta fix somebody's phone. У тебя сделано, Рахима, иди сюда.
Привет, Саша.
Здравствуйте.
Поверни, чтобы я видела ее стол. Не ее ли?
Стол. Хорошо, хорошо.
Вот это покажи.
Ясно, сейчас, минут. One moment, guys. I got a technical support request here. Так, сейчас я. Так, вот я. Так, это включается. Вот. Так, бабушка, иди сюда. All right. I'm doing an iPhone technical support request here. Where was your Discord community server? Так, вот, I'm showing off a cleaning supply product here. Так, у вас, так, видно, у нас есть эта самая бутылка Clorox. Это в Costco продается Clorox. Там комбинат, там Clorox Clean Up. Cleaner plus bleach. Это по-русскому это будет, Clorox это хлорка. Это чистит, это самые, это, материалы разные, плюс здесь хлорки добавлено. И убивает 99.9% бактерий и вирусы. И убивает коронавирус. И еще... Да, это комплекс. Это, бутылка. И еще дополнительный присколько бутылка тоже.
И сколько они стоят?
$12.
12 вроде.
Скидке, да.
На скидке 12.
За пару, да? За 2 пары?
Да, здесь пару. Видите, здесь пластмасса
за этот
завернута.
за этот набор $12. А так он сколько стоил, я не знаю.
Да,
По
хорошо.
скидке $12.
Хорошо, вот телефон вам.
Сейчас.
iPhone здесь. Но я выключу тогда.
Не. Иду.
They're asking about the cleaning supplies. They're wanting for me to do a translation or interpretation of the cleaning supplies. They bought a Clorox bundle from Costco. All right, so back to the Yane. I don't know if you can see it on my YouTube homepage. Let me take a look. So, yeah, you should see ThyCompany, more about the channel, and right under that, there's a link to eBay, and then it says and one more link. You click on that, and then it pulls up an about like window, or and it'll say eBay merch store, and right below that it'll say ThyCompany Discord. Now let me see if I can copy this link and post it into the live stream chat. That might help you, Yane, to get into like an invitation to the Discord server, perhaps. Let's see. Yeah, I'm gonna link here to the Discord server here, Yane. Let's see if that helps. All right, Watermelon Cat says, I'm gonna make a fight. I don't know what that's about. A fight. Sanrio Kuromi Kitty. Welcome to the channel, Sanrio Kuromi Kitty. Hello and welcome. Glad to have you here in the live stream. What fight, says Yane? Yeah, I don't know what you mean by fight. JLL, I don't know. I guess that's supposed to be, I don't know, I'm kidding. Oh, you're just joking around. I got you. Yes, hello, Sanrio Kuromi Kitty. Hello. Speak English? Yes. I'm just translating. So I officially I do interpreting with English and Russian, and then I know a good amount of Spanish, but I need to probably catch up a little bit on the Spanish. And then I'm kind of like, I guess, what do you call it? Involved in or um, into different communities that speak some French and German as well. So yeah, a lot of that, a good amount of languages. Watermelon Cat's making further jokes talking about wet willies. All right. Hello, hello. Yes. Sanrio Kurumi Kitty says, "You're my favorite YouTube person ever." Thank you. Highly appreciate that. We put in a lot of work into making a lot of good content, and then with the other also content creators as well. They also appreciate that too. The Discord link is not working. Oh, let me see what that's about. Let me try putting in the link and see what happens. Let's put the link in. What does it do? Let's see. It loads up Discord. All right. So my Discord's loading. So I'm going to try to kind of troubleshoot this issue just to confirm and see if it's an issue that's ongoing or if it's like. So I typed the link in and it pulls up Discord. Okay. Apparently it's not pulling up the channel. Well, actually, it did pull up the channel. Yeah. I don't know why it's doing that. I have another option we can try, Yane. So the other second option, if you want to try to add me as a friend, try doing ThyCompany. What's the username here? ThyCompany dot or ThyCompany period, and ThyCompany is written all in lowercase letters. So if it's, I don't know if it's like on YouTube where they have an at. So if I type in ThyCompany at or ThyCompany dot. That might help you find the Discord name as well, Yane. If hopefully that does assist in that as another option. So Quack is here. Welcome, Quack. Welcome to the live stream. Glad to have you here. Does the game have a release date? Which game are you referring to? The RPG game, or because I have a few different games that we've made videos on YouTube, and then plus, Rooster's making a game as well. I don't know if you heard about the Gummy Jump game, and then Squary's making a game as well. So there's a few different games. Let's see. Waterman Cat says, "The only way I could be a better player than you are right here, right here." What is this? The only way I could be a better player than you are right here is this. What I don't. Let me make sure I'm reading this correctly here because it's like long on what do you call a long on sentence. The only way I could be a better player than you are right here in this picture of me is to play the guitar in your. I don't know what that means exactly, Watermelon Cat. Can you elaborate on that? And then, yeah, so Yanni, try the ThyCompany. Does that give you anything? I did get a notification from Uchapa. Uchapa just sent me a message. It just says, now what? What do you mean by now what? What? So yeah, let me see what he means by that. All right, cool. So I did get I think I got your friend request. What's your name on Discord? Because I got an incoming friend request from somebody called LNSYNI Incini. I believe his name is, or is it Lincini? Probably Incini. I'm going to accept the friend request. All right. Hello. There we go. There we go. So I added somebody on Discord just now. All right. Watermelon Cat says, guys, Monokuma sucks. Who is Monokuma? Oh, yeah. Okay. So, Yanni, I think I added you here on Discord just now. All right. Quack, the RPG game. So, yeah, we're still. So, I put up a bunch of like blueprints on the Discord channel. Oh, speaking of which, Yanni, let me add you to our Discords. Cool. Okay. I'ma add you to the Discord server as an invite. All right, so let me add Yane to our Discord server. You should be able to see different things here. So I see Square here. Let me add Yane. All right. How do I? Oh, there it is. Invite people. All right. So I just sent you the invitation, Yane. You should be able to see it now. There we go. Cool. You just added or just entered the Discord. So welcome at Insini. Is it pronounced Insini or is that an L? I think it's a capital INSYNI. Or that might be an L. I don't know. It's kind of weird here on my end. Let's see here. It's an RPG game. Yeah, it's kind of still in brainstorming right now. So we don't have anything like set up. Sanrio Kuromi Kitty says, what does gyat mean? That's a good question. What is gyat supposed to mean? I think gyat's just like an outburst. Like what a good example that I can think of is when I was in elementary school, we had a lot of kids who'd just be yelling out, "What? Okay, yeah," like over and over again in class. And it was just like like what they call like a funny outburst. I think that's what gyat means. I think. Um, let's see, Watermelon Cat, the guy from the Rompa. Oh yeah, I know that anime. Yeah, I haven't watched it, but I'm familiar with the name. So yeah, Sanrio, that should answer your question there. You need to know. Yeah, I guess everybody needs to know what gyat means. Post the link of the server here. So Quack, let me see if I can do that again. I don't know if maybe um let me try putting in the Discord channel link here. Because Yana had some issues here. Maybe it might work on your end, Quack. If not, if that shouldn't work, if that for some reason has issues, try just do what I do, like a manual friend request, and I can manually invite you to the server. So that's the Discord name. Yanni says, I would help the RPG game as an artist lead. Yeah, I do a lot of artwork too. So, let's see, because I have, you can argue a university level art education. I have, paperwork to show you. I even have the freaking degree here. I don't know if you can, let me see if I can show you all. See that black, oh, here we go. The black diploma right there. It says University of North Carolina. Might be able to see that there. It says University of North Carolina. So for those of you who think ThyCompany is a nobody, there's my degree right there. But yeah, certainly I do appreciate any offers for assistance. It certainly does help. So yeah, I wanted to also cover another thing right quick too with the health thing. So yeah, back to the blood work thing. I was going to mention to you all about the vasovagal nerve response. So yeah, I told you all what it is. It's like a nerve response that gets triggered under certain situations. And for me, this is like whenever I start having to basically do blood work or give blood. All right, so let me drink some water right quick. When you talk for a long time, you do sometimes become out of breath. Luckily, I've taken a few classes on public speaking, so I know a few ways to help with that. Or better yet, just go and breathe. Breathe, Thigh. But yeah, so vasovagal response. What is that? For me, this may apply to you, may not apply to you. So, when they draw blood, so they, for me, I had it like one today. So they put it in, they stick you with the, I forgot the actual technical terms, but basically it's a tube. I think they call it a. I've heard that term before, but it's a needle tube, and it goes to like an apparatus, and they put like a container that kind of looks like a cup, and it suctions out blood and puts the blood into a vial, and then they take that vial into putting into lab for that lab analysis, and so another. First of all, quick thing here. I got the direct message. All right, another friend request. This is from Quack. I just got Quack's incoming friend request. So let me take care of that right quick. I'm gonna wave to Quack. I'm gonna say hello. And let me invite Quack onto the Discord server. And by the way, we're trying to get to 40 members. We're actually, what are we at right now? 37 by the looks of it. I'm at Quack and he'll become number 36, I believe. Number 36. All right, cool. I just invited Quack. So I'm going to wave hello to Quack. I'm going to say welcome to Quack. Let's see, welcome at Quack. By the way, for the game development questions, we do have a text channel that says development. I put my like brainstorming ideas in there. I think Rooster has a few things, and I tend to kind of like want to go for that numbness, so I don't feel any pain. Whenever I start feeling pain, that kind of gets to that vasovagal response. So, for me, what does that mean? So, the first time that happened to me within a medical situation within this like last year, meaning that including like summer of 2023 up to now. First time this lady was like rude or kind of, well, not rude, I guess aggressive would have been more of a better word. Stuck me onto my right arm and she wasn't listening to what I was saying. It's like, hey, do y'all by chance have like a recliner chair or something like that? Because I just felt like something was off and very uncomfortable, and it was hurting. And I was like, all right, let me just not really look at it. And I'm like, I'm like staring away from my arm. My arm's over here, and I'm looking over here, and I start feeling off, and I'm like, crap, I'm probably, I should have had something to eat. And then I go into full on, get into the response. What do they call it? Yeah, vasovagal nerve response. So once I get into that response, or that attack is another way you can call it, right? So when this attack starts, or this acute onset response happens, I start feeling kind of like, this, a few things can happen. You might start getting, you can get tinnitus. Tinnitus is ringing in your ears. Ringing in your ear, like, bell ringing here and there. You start hearing like kind of like a radio signal or antenna noise. It's kind of like one way you can explain it. And then you start realizing you're getting a little bit lightheaded or dizzy. And then you start getting a cold sweat. So you start feeling like, oh crap, the room is going weird. Like, I'm like, holy crap, and I'm feeling something coming on me. Then I go into this weird like cold sweat. So I start sweating profusely all over. And then I'm like, all right, I'm telling this lady, hey, I don't feel so good. I'm starting to feel queasy. And she's like, oh, just breathe. Breathe. How you feeling now? How you feeling now? And I'm like, I'm not getting any better. I'm feeling worse. And she's like, all right, we're almost done. I'm like, okay, this is not, not good. And I start going pale. I start going cold and pale. And she looks at me and she realizes, something down. So she stops whatever she's doing. I think she puts like a, cotton patch and then like put tapes around it. So, to stop bleeding, right? She goes and runs for help. And I'm like, oh crap, something's about to go down. And I'm like, oh, the party's about to start now. And so they bring over a nurse, I think, this nice guy who works at the medical office there. And it's like, let's go get a blood pressure reading from him. So they get a blood pressure monitor. They put it around my arm. And typical blood pressure is supposed to be like 120 over 80. My blood pressure said 70 over 40, which is bad. Um, to kind of give you an idea how bad that is, when my grandfather, had his heart attack, after the heart attack, his blood pressure was like 40 over 30. Mine was 70 over 40. That's bad. That's not, when you're low blood pressure, they call that hypotension. Hypertension is high blood pressure. Hypo is low blood pressure. I was in extreme hypotension, meaning that I could pass out. And so they're like, all right, we ain't going, we ain't doing this. So they carefully transfer me over from the chair into this wheelchair, and they wheel me into this room that's called an infusion room. People who are in an infusion room are usually getting like medication. Sometimes you might get like iron infusions. So people who have low iron or low hemoglobin, like iron levels in the body as well, or just like give you medicine for an IV. They just put me onto this recliner chair. They put me like, all right, we want you to sit here as long as it needs for you to recover. And they're just like, just take deep breaths. And at this point, I'm like, all right, we are out of the lab. We're out of taking any blood work. And like, I'm glad this is over. And Giannis says, I'm watching the stream on the TV right now. I'm home alone. Oh, cool. Watching it on YouTube TV. That's awesome if you are. Thigh's finally on the TV, right? But yeah, so they put me on this recliner chair in the infusion room. They got a TV playing, and I think it's like HGTV, and I'm watching, the home renovations. And they give me soda and peanut butter crackers. And usually it's like Sprite or cola. For me, that tends to be Sprite that they give me for some reason. Without even me asking, they like to give me Sprite. And I think it's because it's like they got something different in it other than what Coca-Cola has. I got to put my laptop on the charger here. But it took me like half an hour to recover, and then I was fine after that. Today, it was probably arguably worse. I felt worse today when it happened because they did it for my left arm, and I was looking away because I was like, I was regretting going to do blood work today because I didn't want to go through that episode of having to give blood, but I had to because it's like you have to after you turn in your 24-hour urine collection. And maybe there's something like they want to compare the blood results versus what the urine results are. I don't know. I'm not an expert in that. So they put in my left arm, and I don't know if you can even see. No, you can't see the mark on here, but it's like a red dot. But yeah, they put it into my arm, and I had a lady who the first time when she drew blood for me, I told her and I warned her ahead of time, hey, do you have a recliner chair? I would prefer or highly would like to request a recliner chair because I tend to have issues giving blood. And, they did that, and she drew blood from my left arm the first time, and she did perfectly. I didn't feel anything, and I was, amazed that I didn't feel a thing, and it was quick, and I was out of there. But today, it sucked. She put it in. I didn't feel a thing, but I was, looking to the side, and I was like, all right, let me look, instead of looking down, let me look kind of straight ahead at, the computer monitor that they had there, her workstation. I'm feeling okay. Everything's okay. And then I realized, something's taking a while here. And then I get this sensation like freaking like as if fluids or liquid inside of me is like steadily going down. And I'm like having the sensation like it's going down, and it's going down in chunks. I'm like, what the heck is this like sensation I'm feeling? And then the freaking vasovagal response starts. And I'm like, I keep telling myself, all right, just take deep breaths. Maybe this is not what's going on. And then I start feeling worse. And then it comes in quick. It comes in quicker than the first time. And I'm like, all right, like I don't feel good. I feel queasy. I feel queasy. And they like looking at me like, all right, we got to get help. And now they didn't take my blood pressure this time when it was happening. What they did was they quickly took me to that recliner chair first. Then they took my blood pressure. And by the time I was in the recliner chair, I was beginning to recover. They said my face went white, so which means super pale. And I was cold and clammy and sweaty, all over. I was cold to the touch. They said my lips had turned white. And that's not a thing you want to be hearing, right? When you're in the medical office. I'm like, oh crap. And I had a headache this morning too, so maybe that has something to do with it too. But what I did was instead of like, the first time I didn't have anything to eat. So I was preparing ahead of time. I was eating a bunch of sweets. I was eating, what did I have? I had like Nutella on bread. So, you could argue that you had like the bread and the oil and the fat from that. Then I had a banana. So I'm thinking, all right, so potassium is there, maybe electrolytes. So I was drinking water, drinking juice. I think it was apple juice and then some kind of like cranberry pomegranate juice. And then I was like eating some freaking Fruit Loop, what do they call it? Fruit Loop cereal bars. So it's like they put Fruit Loops like cereal or those circular O's, the colored O's cereal on like a bar of some sort. Now I'm eating a few of those, and apparently that had nothing, like no effect on me when I had that response or something. But it took them like instead of 30 minutes, it took them like 45 minutes, and they had to go out and bring in a doctor to come in to check up on me. I'm like, holy crap. I'm like, like, man, did I have an episode or something? And so, again, they're giving me this, oh, what is this here? Something just happened on my Discord here. Joining my Discord now. Let's see. Dwight. Or no, my bad, not Dwight. TWLTE is a user. Cool. Oh, this is Yanni's alt. Sorry for level 1. Okay, Yanni's alt. All right, I'm going to say thank you. That happened today. It's not something that I would want for people to go through. But yeah, sitting in a chair for 45 minutes, it does help.